Hello everyone, this is Golden Time Studio. I'm Lynn. You can call me Brother Jeansy. We are a team specializing in Casio Oak's high-end customization modification team. If you are interested in watch modification or deep modification of the Oakley farm, you can follow us. As I told you before, we will launch many amazing with very good texture and high appearance. Recently, we are slowly revealing them to you. We are slowly releasing them for today's watch. Personally, I think, in the entire farmhouse oak offshore model brackets, you can go to previous videos to learn about the offshore modification in the entire series. I think in terms of appearance, configuration, and texture, it's a brand new modification. Okay, so in this video we will divide it into two parts. We will first talk about the configuration of the entire watch. Then I will still tell you about how it has been transformed from my left hand. This is the original Oakley farm, which has a strong plastic feel, and an ordinary one on my right hand, which can be said to have a first-class texture. A modification of a luxury brand. How did they become like this? In this video, I will explain to you how it is done. First, let's talk about the configuration. As you can see, the case part, we are using the most handsome, and then the most expensive forged carbon fiber case. Then it is matched with a natural fluorine rubber strap. First of all, let's talk about forged carbon fiber. Its texture is very unique, which has irregular patterns rather than regular horizontal or vertical patterns. This kind of, it should be said to be the most advanced one. Forged carbon fiber, extremely close to Richard Mill's NTPT. This material, I'm not ashamed to say that many people promote it as NTPT. It appears in various watches, but also in some luxury brands. They all say that this is NTPT, but in fact, NTPT and single-track carbon fiber, there are some differences. Everyone should pay attention to this. And then, I have also found a watch case on the market, which is similar to our pattern. But what I want to say is that the big difference is that I have seen it. Their texture is very shallow. To put it another way, that is, if it is in a very dark environment, you look at it, it will be a black mass. You can't see it at all. The irregular texture of carbon fiber. But our broken carbon fiber, no matter the light is dim, even at night, even with just a little light, you can clearly see the material. The contrast of the pattern, which has a texture of black, white, and gray. So when we play with carbon fiber, the appearance is the first. And then what is the second? The second is the lightness of the carbon fiber watch, is about 60 grams. I'll weigh it for you later. And then, another point is the strap part. We use natural fluorine rubber, which is the same as Richard Mill, and some A&P are made of the same material. Thickness and texture. Both thickness and texture are good. Then, the head part is curved. Which is curved. Those who know our GT case know that. I won't say much about this. No matter how thin your wrist is, it will definitely follow your wrist and stick to your wrist. It won't. Because the flat head force makes it bulge out. Because many headbands are flat and stick out. This is what it looks like when you wear it. Can you understand? It's like this, and your wrist is here. It's ugly. This is our entire configuration. What is the most important point? Is our forged carbon fiber shell, which is added with luminous material. Of course, I can only mention it briefly. Because in forged carbon fiber, to add luminous material, this kind of thing, there is no very mature technology in the world. We have also made great efforts. So, here is a flashlight. If you are interested, you can use a high brightness flashlight to shine on it and play with it yourself. It can't be done that in the dark environment, or in the daytime after the light is off, or in the dark environment. It suddenly becomes very bright. This is impossible. So, here, I'll show you the luminous of the dial. I'll show you the luminous part. Now you can see the watch case part. It has emitted this kind of starry, this luminous brightness. Then the hour hand of the middle dial, and the minute hand, including the scales and the digital part of the inner ring, will also have some luminous effect. So the entire luminous effect is also very good. But I have to say that the luminous of the case, we don't take it as an important promotion point. Just play with it. And then, let me weigh it for you. Let's take a look. The weight is, including the strap, it weighs 74 grams. 74 grams, which is lighter than the steel strap, which is steel case with strap, is about 20 grams lighter. So, it's very light when worn. This is the case part, and then the glass part, which is also very important. From now on, all sapphire lenses, this one is standard. We will directly replace it, based on the original. On the basis of the original 2.5 mm, we add about 4 mm. It's about 2.8 to 2.9 mm. The purpose of this is to make the glass and the frame will not sink down too much, to raise the glass a little bit. This one, you can hardly tell any traces of modification. I don't know if you can understand. This is very important. It's very important because in the past it was only 3 mm off. It would sink a little bit. The texture will be a little bit worse. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Let's compare it. The left side is the original. An original farmhouse oak. Let me show you. The parts we use for modification are all brand new with tags, without any signs of use. It's not second-hand or even old ones, or even fake. It's impossible. It's impossible. So, let's compare the whole thing. First of all, the obvious change is the case, and also, the dial is different. Can be said to be fully modified. Let's look at the original oak farm. It can't be scratched like this. Its original glass is mineral glass. Can't withstand scratching. As I mentioned earlier, sapphire glass is scratch resistant and is not afraid of scratches, and its transparency is compared. It's obvious that sapphire's transmittance is much better. Then, its entire movement component is 4. One is the pointer. Needless to say, the dial part is self-explanatory. There is an independent scale. Then add an inner shadow ring. Then these 4 parts. Then our offshore modified. As you can see, there is only a timing ring, a dial. Then there are the minute, hour, and day hands. We have turned 4 buttons into 3. The original inner ring part. Let's look at this part. We have very cleverly transformed it into the Royal Oak Offshore of A. Royal Oak Offshore. A chronograph ring. Of course, the A. P. There is a crown here, which can be screwed. The inner ring can move, but ours can't, because it is not a completely different structure, but it's very ingenious. Here, it is replaced. And then, the scale. The original scale is an independent scale, and it's made of plastic. Many people say, why the scale is not made of metal, and make it independent. The conclusion is that it can't be done. We tried using CNC. But it's too small, and it can't be processed. So we look at the original Casio. They didn't use metal either. The reason is very simple. We can only use this ABS engineering plastic, and then we integrate it with the dial here. And then made of metal. Let me show you up close. The metal scale. This solves the problem. What people often say, it looks more high-end. It looks more high-end. And then, the dial part, the original one, it's a plastic dial. We can call it a film, which we professionally call film. Then it has also become a metal material. Just like this one, you can see that. This is obviously a pure copper dial. And the machine cover here is an independent, with a 3-dimensional metal logo on top. And then, the window on this side is still retained, and the prints below here, and so on. You can simply take a closer look, and compare the two. You will find that, what is deep modification? What is shell modification? Now, I see many shell modifications, which is just changing the shell, which doesn't make much sense, right? We had them before, and then I got rid of them. It's not very interesting. You can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. This is a real deep modification. That is to say, except for the original farm machinery's movement, there is almost the bottom cover. And the bottom cover. Let's take a look at the back. Many friends said, look at the back. Keep the bottom cover. We will never do such a thing. And then, is a question that people often ask, the function after modification. In fact, we can compare it. This is completely untouched. What are the functions of the original one? The light in the upper right corner, let's turn it on. No problem. The upper left corner has some adjustment functions. Press it and there will be some functions. Let's also take a look. The lower left corner is also. It has no impact at all. The lower right corner is for switching between time and calendar. Press it to switch to today, September 8th. Press here, and it will switch to September 9th. The time is not adjusted. This is Tokyo time. So, it has no impact on the function. Then there is another key waterproof function. For waterproofing, we promise that it will not be damaged at 200 meters because this is a very, very important thing. So, throughout the entire process of making it, the original waterproof ring of the bottom cover is original. The waterproof ring of the case, which is professionally called an eye-ring ring, we customized it separately. It is perfectly matched and it won't affect its waterproof function. As for its shock resistance and other features, or its own G-Shock patented design, we haven't destroyed it either. It still has the shock resistance it should have. So this is the change from the left one to this one. It seems simple, but it's actually very complicated. If you look at it like this, should be very obvious and intuitive. Then, in terms of the overall matching of this style, there are several points for you to choose. Let me tell you. The first is the screw in the ring part. We use silver, because I like to brighten up the entire watch. I always think pure black will be depressing. You can choose pure black. For this part here, if you don't like silver, you can choose. This is the first choice. The second is the strap. This time, I deliberately got a short strap because my wrist is relatively thin. Let me show you. If your wrist is lower than 16 centimeters, you can ask for a short version of the strap. So let's look at the short strap. After I put it on, the exposed part is very small. If I use a long strap, it will stick out a lot here. And if you look from this side, it will stick out here. There's no problem with the short tape. So if your wrist is thin, you can make a choice here. Another point is the color of the strap. I think the current one that can match it is. If you think yellow and orange are too bright, you can choose black. If there are other colors, I don't think they are good choices. I think both black and orange are okay. This whole orange version of this combination, I think it's better than the one I showed you before. Pure black, the offshore carbon fiber. It will be more colorful. If you use a black strap, I think, it will fit most people. For example, if you think the orange is too bright, you can change it to a black strap. And then, I think this one we are comparing. It's comparable to the 15707. Excluding other factors, because the 15707 is ceramic, we directly use the most expensive material. The most expensive material, except for precious metals, which is forged carbon fiber. This is the whole, the one I want to show you today. The one I like the most among the offshore models. Okay, so that's all for this video. I'll stop here. See you in the next video.